What I would like to share with you today is the work that we've been doing on continuous systematic patient feedback. And basically what that is, that we look to get feedback from every patient that we see. The questionnaire has evolved over time. Essentially, it involves asking each patient to feedback on every occasion that they're seen, and then reviewing the feedback immediately at the end of the clinic or at the end of the ward round, and then any ideas and suggestions that they have, trying to put them into practice. We've focused on the clinical interaction and aspects about that. We want to capture how good the clinical interaction was from the patient's point of view, so we can identify issues and really try and improve that. And we've been using this approach for several years now, and in fact found it to have very many benefits for the team, for our processes, and the care that the patients are receiving. Half of the treatments that we recommend in long-term conditions, patients don't make use of. We should be doing our utmost to improve the patient compliance, patient understanding, and so on. And what we like to do is the changes that we've identified, we act on them. So if we think someone might need a bit of water or something to make notes about, we do it immediately and it's done. So it's not something that we necessarily need to talk about, we spend huge hours or committees or anything like that. So it's quite straightforward and quite simple to do. It doesn't really take very much time at all. There's been a quite sort of immediate interest from the number of people that I've spoken to. Today, the receptions team were involved, the clinic nurse was involved, and myself. And so those are the key people that you need to have take an interest in this. And then you can sort of expand on that. You can have other members of the team and other sections within the hospital and beyond.
Even by the end of the first session, it became obvious that we learnt an awful lot from the feedback. Things that we hadn't even given any thought to, that patients had picked up on.
From my perspective, patients seem very keen to fill out the survey. They're glad they can be involved, and patients are able to say what they want to. That gives them time to think, because quite often when they're in there they don't remember.
I was pleased to give my response for the survey. I know that the doctors are going to use that information. It makes you feel reassured.
It became very clear quickly that it was actually going to mean something. It was going to be a good idea.
We're just looking to see how effective we can be. Could we have done something better? Was there something within our control that we could have improved? But the principle of asking every patient for feedback on every occasion, I think it's quite straightforward. And if we try to put that into practice as much of the time as we can.
You need to keep the questions pretty basic and pretty straightforward. At the end of their appointment, they just want to be able to quickly say yes, no, yes. To have the patient there and have them give you your feedback then and there, I think that's the only way of getting a complete picture from everybody. Seeing as I was the nurse that sort of instigated it with Dr. Mahmood, if I'm not in that clinic, I've had to make sure all the other nurses are familiar with the process of asking the patients the questionnaires, and then you do need someone to input the data.
My expectations are that I will arrive and be seen and have a friendly staff when I come, and it has been absolutely brilliant. Yeah, lovely. A lady on reception was very helpful, straightforward, explained everything. So it's made the staff feel more friendly and approachable. Yeah, I feel that they care more, definitely.
This week, when I found someone making notes, and I thought maybe we should be making notepads available to our patients, just realising that and having the notepad available, it was 5 minutes and he was there before the next patient came along. So it could be pretty instant.
Although Dr. Mahmood would like everybody to be given the questionnaire, there are occasions where you know it would be inappropriate. Patients obviously get very upset sometimes, and some people have got to get back to a relative or a child. So just occasionally you have to use your discretion on who you're not going to ask. You certainly don't choose patients if you think they've had a good appointment, as opposed to those that you know are going to complain. You have to give everybody the chance.
We're constantly reviewing what we do and how we do, so the questionnaire changes all the time, and they're cumulative. We're just building on the small changes that we're making all the while, and it takes no time at all for the patient to do their feedback, and then it takes us less than 2 minutes to go through the debrief at the end to identify elements that we could adjust and improve and really reflect on our own performance. Now, if we could all improve our performance by a small margin, and cumulatively we've had a huge impact in terms of our effectiveness and our productivity and the value that we're able to give our patients. Sally, for example, analysed some of the data more recently, and she's also presented the data, and she's taken real ownership about the whole process. So people are able to evolve and develop their roles because it enables them to identify issues and take action and address them, and empower them to be able to make real change.
We're still making changes even after all this time. Simple little things like a patient said, could she have had a cup of water on the desk, because as you know you're nervous when you're seeing the doctor. A cup of water just to moisten your lips. Constant interruptions into the consulting room, that's another aggravation for patients. So you think, right, we put notices on the door, do not enter until the clinic nurse comes out. You know, simple little things. So patients, when they come back next time, they can immediately see that we've taken note of what they said.
We've been doing this for 5 years, and found that actually it's relatively straightforward. It doesn't take much effort. It takes 2 minutes at the start of the clinic, 2 minutes at the end of the clinic, review the questionnaires, and then it's very straightforward, and we can keep doing it and keep identifying small things that we can improve on. I would like colleagues elsewhere who come across this message to think about setting up the service for themselves and to see how useful it might be.
When we first started, we'd have a few fairs and a couple of goods. Mostly now we get good and excellent. So it's moved us up a bracket considerably. From keeping on our toes on all the little periphery things, it has given value, I think, to the service. It makes the job more complete. It makes you more aware of the patient as a person. It gives you a rapport between the patient and yourself that maybe would have been lost otherwise.
I'm surprised that not every hospital doesn't have a survey and a feedback. It makes all the difference to patients, because how the patient feels makes a huge difference to their recovery, and every person in this country that's poorly should definitely have that level of service.